Hey YouTube, this is Brian from Charlottesville, Virginia, and I had a little extra time today, so I thought I would make a video about my new V-Star 650. New in that it's about 3 weeks old now, and I ordered some saddlebags for the back of it, and now here they are right here. Might be kind of hard to see. There's the saddlebags, and then here are the brackets that need to be installed. So I thought I would make a video about the installation because I was kind of looking around on YouTube and elsewhere and wanted to see what was involved in actually installing them, and I couldn't find somebody installing these on my exact motorcycle, so I thought I'd make the video. Like I said, I have a little extra time today. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and install a bag on one side so I get the hang of it, and then record the process on the other side. Real quick about the motorcycle, it's like I said, it's about 3 weeks old. I am a very new rider. I haven't never ridden a motorcycle before, really. When I was younger, I had a moped, and I remember playing around on some dirt bikes and didn't even, just didn't recollect even how to operate the thing. So this was all new to me. Ended up taking the safety classes here in Virginia, 15 hours of training, and with that getting the Virginia M2 motorcycle license endorsement, and got that more than a week ago, and then I've been sort of practicing ever since, just taking local roads, not really getting on interstates, not doing anything risky, just getting the hang of the bike and the handling and the clutching. Hey Jasper, come here buddy. That's my doggy Jasper. It's thundering in the background now, and he gets nervous when it's thundering and runs off. Don't run, stay here, don't go anywhere. So I'm working on the motorcycle near the garage in case I have to quickly put it in there, because I just cleaned it and I don't want to get water stains all over it. So anyway, this is it. It's a 2013 V-Star 650. I opted for the 650 for my first motorcycle, kind of bypassing the old 250 thing that people do when they first learn to ride, just because I didn't want the hassle and expense of buying something that I was going to get rid of in 6 months anyway. So just figured I'd learn on the 650. And I really, at this time don't have any desire to, come here buddy, to upgrade or to go any larger. This is exactly the size motorcycle that I want, so I'm pretty damn happy with it, and I think it looks great. And it was a hell of a bargain. It's a 2013. Got a real good deal. Of course, everyone says they get a good deal, but I think I did. I got about $1,500 off of retail, and it only had 3 miles on it. Now it's got 268 miles. That's all miles that I put on there while training, practicing. It's probably about time to get the first oil change. I have not laid it down or dropped it or had any accidents yet, thank goodness. So no dinged up handlebars or mufflers or anything yet, thank goodness. So it's been a really awesome bike, but enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and install the saddlebags on one side, like I say, and get accustomed to how it's done. It's probably really simple, and then videotape the process on the other side, and hopefully Jasper doesn't run off on me because it's thundering in the background. I live in Charlottesville, Virginia, and it is one of those summer days in Virginia where it's in the 90s and the humidity is about 95%, and you just sweat sitting outside, and there's thunder looming in the background, and just typical summer day around here. Nothing unusual. So anyway, I want to put the camera down and install one side. And hey buddy, come here. Come on bud. Look at this. He's drooling. Wants to drool all over the place. Poor guy. You want to go inside? Come on over here. Stay here. Okay, I'm going to put the camera down and do one side and be right back. to video the other side. Say bye, Jasper. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I just decided I'm going to go ahead and show this video as I'm learning how to do it, because it just seems so simple. I can't imagine what could go wrong, right? So if something does go wrong, I'll record it and then figure out the solution, and maybe that'll be even a more helpful video than. But at any rate, the first step in the process is to install these brackets here, and these guys are going to kind of mount into these holes, which I've just removed the screws, and to keep the saddlebags from touching the wheel, to keep them away from the wheel. That's their entire purpose. So unscrewed one screw from there, and one from right there, using a 5mm Allen wrench, and the brackets there, whatever they're called, came with a hardware kit, and it's right here. And they came with longer screws to, of course, account for the thickness of the bracket itself. It came with two different sets of screws, one longer than the other. There we go, these two right here. One of them is a little longer than the other, and the purpose of that is if the longer one you would use if you had the little backrest bracket right there, it would take some additional space here and here, which you'd need the longer screw for. I don't have that, so I use the shorter screw that came with it. So, having unscrewed those, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these brackets out and start fitting it. See how that works. Alright, well, I just went ahead and installed the saddlebag bracket, or what does Yamaha, they call it a side bag support. We get the right terminology here. The Yamaha refers to that, what I call a bracket, as a excuse me, as a saddlebag support. I installed the right side, and the reason why I just jumped ahead is because I realized during this process that I think the seat has to be removed, because the saddlebags themselves kind of they have a middle portion that has to be stitched together underneath the seat. So I figured, okay, well, if the seat's going to be removed, then that little strap right there, this little strap right here that goes across the street, the seat has to be removed as well. So I figured I would go ahead and start on the other side, leave this support in place, start on the other side, remove the screws, and then pull this strap here, let it flop on this side, and remove the seat. And then install the support, then the bag, stitch them in the middle, and then replace the seat. I think that's how it's supposed to be done. Again, this is a learning curve. I'm filming this as I go. I'm certainly not a mechanic, so this is all new to me. It's simple enough, but these little things you have to learn as you go. The instructions that Yamaha provides are pretty much non-existent. They just have a little diagram of the supports, and that's about it. And then the bags themselves, the saddlebags themselves have well, that's not really an instruction. Here's the instructions right here, which looks like they've been photocopied 17 times, the pictures, but it just pretty much says you lay the bags against the supports, and then you stitch the middles together. And in this picture here, it appears that the stitching goes underneath the rear, the passenger seat. And of course, the step 1 on the instruction says remove the passenger seat. So again, I wasn't accounting for that. I didn't look far enough ahead. That's my mistake. So it's okay. I'm going to begin on the other side, and then once I get those bolts undone, I'll remove the seat. I'm not even sure I know how to remove the seat, but I'll give it a shot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove the screws here. Figured I'd do it live, so to speak. Okay. So there are my screws. These things do not go back in. As I mentioned earlier, Yamaha provides replacement longer ones. Now for the seat. How do I do that? Well, I'm sure it's real easy if you know how to do it, but the only thing I can see, let me move the tripod, is that there is a screw, I'm sorry, a bolt in the rear. So I have my socket set, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that rear bolt and see what happens. Okay, I found the right size socket, which is a 14 millimeter. Alright, there's a washer, and then there's a rubber washer right there. I'm going to leave on there. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And that comes right up, and it looks like, yeah, this slides right out. There's a little bracket right there that this slides right under. It's a little dirty under here. It's a good opportunity to clean it. So if I had a "that was easy" button, I would press it right now. Okay, now let's go ahead and start on the bracket or the support on the other side. Okay, I've already removed the screws, and I am using the shorter of the two replacement screws that Yamaha provided, and it took a 5 millimeter Allen wrench to remove the existing screws, or bolts, that is. I said screws. And the new ones are 6 millimeters, so it just takes a different wrench. It's neither here nor there, it's just of note. And I'm gonna need to wipe that. Pull these things apart. See a little bit of road dirt back there, a little grime. Might as well clean it while it's off. Since the bike is so new, I'm sure one day there'll come a day real soon where I'm not happy about having to clean it. But right now it's kind of fun. That's always the case with something new. At least it is for me. Oh, what am I doing? See, I'm already messing up. So Okay. That's interesting. So this has to go on. Okay. Now, this raises a question. Can I get the passenger seat back on? Something's not meshing here. So this is what happens when you do things live. See now, that's not really fitting. So something's not aligned in there. Looks like it just takes a hell of a push to get it aligned. Okay, that did it. I just didn't want to strip the threads. I'm sure it's boring as hell watching me do this, but I don't feel like turning the camera off right now, so it took a lot of... It just took a lot of kind of lifting to get that thing aligned. Okay, and then that's the back one. That one went right in, fortunately. Okay, so my question earlier, before I started having a problem with this, getting this guy started here, is that can I get the passenger seat on with this, like this? And I'm guessing the answer is yes, because it has to be that way. Also, Yamaha suggests torquing these Allen bolts to a certain spec, and I don't have a torque wrench, and I don't see much in the way of criticality about these things, so I'm just going to kind of estimate based on how tight they were to remove the old ones. And that's it. Alright, so that's the support portion, and they look nice. Oh, also, they come with these little caps. Well, I gotta get my little rubber mallet here. So once you screw these in, they come with these little plastic chrome caps to hide the Allen head. Well, I think that's that. This is a helmet lock that obviously is not going to get any use Put the saddlebags on there. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this dirt and grime cleaned off before I put the saddlebags on. And I have no idea how to get the saddlebags on, but I will show you as I go. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a, since this is off, I'm going to put a coat of wax on there while I'm here. Alright, so this, I'm just going to, this is called ICE Premium Care. And I use it on my truck sometimes, and like, it's just real easy to do. Spray it on there to apply it. Just kind of work it around. And then you take the dry part of the cloth and just wipe it off, and you can feel the difference. You know, it feels like a coat of wax as soon as you start wiping it off. It's pretty amazing. And it looks great, and it's easy. Okay, now let me just test that passenger seat to see that it fits. All right. No, I guess that was, yeah, that's a piece of cake. There's no problem there. That's, yeah. Okay, so we're good. We are good. Now for the saddlebags themselves. Let me hit pause here for a second and go grab them. Okay, here's where things get a little confusing in the instructions. So you're supposed to lay these bags down and adjust them so that they fit the supports, and that's about right on this side. And it's about right on that side. So it's pretty much a complete overlap of the holes. And having determined that, they give some thread to stitch these up to hold them together. So I know that I need pretty much a complete overlap. So I'm going to start the process of stitching. And they provide one long piece and 6 short pieces. The 6 short pieces are somehow to attach the bags to the brackets, I think, to the supports. That's where the instructions get confusing. But I'm going to go ahead and use the long one, I think. Yeah, the long one to stitch up the saddlebags in the middle, and then I'll go ahead and put the bags on there and replace the seat if it doesn't rain on me here, and then worry about how to attach the bags to the support. Okay, I went ahead and stitched them and together, and I really don't. Let me lift the tripod here. I don't know, I don't know how to sew, so I did. I started with this hole and just kept working around and then tied it off right there in what looks like a box stitch of sorts. I didn't have enough thread to keep going around the whole, rectangle, but I don't think that matters, because the only reason, or the only stress is, see, these are just basically laying here. So the only stress is any weight that's going to pull these down, and so that ought to do it. So at this point they're nice and I think probably before the seat goes on, I should probably tie the bags to the supports, because this might have to shift forward and backwards a little bit. Again, the directions are not clear on that, and the directions only provide me with 6 of these things, and the backs have these little straps on here that you can, they're sewn in. This is a hard plastic, and so you can put the thread through. Can't do it with one hand right now, but the thread will go right through, and then you could tie them off to the bars there, to the supports. Now the go ahead and lay this back on. I don't think that there's a left and a right, because they're symmetrical, so, you know, zip open would be towards the rear. Well, if I turned them around, then opening would go towards the front. I don't know that nope, opening goes towards the rear. So they're symmetrical in every way, so there's no left or right. And given that, well, you tie the thread off, makes kind of a little hump right there. I think this might be better lower. So I'm just going to fit the seat first. I think that little tie off knot there should be further down on the fender. But let's find out if the seat fits before I get these all tied up. See, it's kind of iffy right there. It kind of makes the thickness of the leather, causing me to have to force this down. So let's go ahead and try it the other way and see if that's any better. Not the same. So I guess that's just the way it is. You know, the seat has these little rubber pads on them, so that when they rest against the paint on the fender, you can see there's a mark there and there. I think these are taking up too much space, so I think the front rubber pads, they pull right out. I don't think they're needed as a cushion anymore, because the front part of the seat is going to rest on the leather. Let's see if that makes a huge difference. Goes right in. But yeah, it makes a difference. But I don't know. I just don't know what's going to be better, with or without these rubber things. I'm going to go with because I see where the portion of the seat is kind of pushing into the leather here, and eventually that's going to cause a wear pattern. Okay, I'm going to go with it like that. I'm going to opt to have this knot, which is the highest point here, further back, so that, you know, when it was up here, this piece of rubber was right over top of it, kind of pushing it up more than it needed to be. So I'm going to go with the knot kind of in the center of the seat where there's nothing to touch it there. Like I say, I'm going to go ahead and secure the bags first to the supports before I install the seat. Installing the seat will be the final thing. So now is I'm not even going to read the instructions. Talk about securing the bag to the passenger foot pegs, or that's crazy. I'm not running the strap down it. That's what these supports are for. So using these 6 pieces of thread, I'm going to figure out strategically where to tie them to the supports, which looks like it's real easy to do. You have a support here, and you've got various places you can run the thread through here and just tie them. This is a kind of a sticky thread. It's kind of a shoelace, but it's kind of sticky, so when you tie it, it's going to stay in place. It's got a lot of friction. So I'm going to start that process. Okay, looks like I might be running out of my battery here, so I'm going to have to do a little shorter clips here. But let me just say this is where things get interesting. I am not going to follow the directions from here on out. I have not strapped these bags to the supports yet, but what I have determined is you want to get them level or even on both sides, and I want them pretty far back to where they're pretty much touching the turn signal lights. So slide this back, and I am not going to use the thread because I'm not even sure how to get back there to tie a knot, because, you know, once you tie the knot, this is going to be secured. I don't know, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but at this point I see this is being a good application for zip locks or zip ties. Fortunately, I had some of these laying around. These will easily slide right through the bags, come right around and zip them right in there, and it'll hold the bag securely. If they ever need to be removed, then you just take wire cutters and snip them and put new ones on. I'm going to strategically start slipping. Let's see if I can do it with one hand here. There we go. So I slip this in, and I'm going to bring it around and tie it off that way. It's kind of tough to do with one hand. Okay, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and do that on the front, and then I'm going to do that on the other bag, and then clip off the excess. I'll be right back. I just finished putting my last zip tie on. I did 2, and by the way, these are nice and secure. They're not going anywhere. There's 2 zip ties on the front. I opted to put one on the top and one on the bottom to hold the bag to the support, because you know, at highway speeds, wind will be hitting the front of that bag, and then I put 1 zip tie on the back. Okay, let's see. And so I put them in. There's one right there. So I put them in there nice and tight, and then clipped off the end, and then turned it so you can't see any evidence that it's a zip tie. So this was really zip ties were born for this application. I don't know why they didn't include them. I would not even bother trying to, you know, put thread through there and tie a knot, unless you wanted to constantly remove these saddlebags. And, you know, but even that thread that they provide is not meant to be tied and untied, because it's got a sticky residue on there to keep it tied, and I don't think once you pull it tight you'd have to cut it to get it off anyway. So this is one of these little live and learn things. I would definitely recommend having some nice long black zip ties. So it's nice and secure, and just to show you the, not much to see, but you know, reasonable amount of space for little things get at the store, or little things you need to take with you. Maybe rain gear if you wear it. Little things like that. This is not meant to be a touring bike. It's just a, you know, use it around town, but you know, that's plenty enough storage for the little things that I'd buy at the store. So as my last step, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the passenger seat, and then I'll come back to show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the final product. Now, you know, again, this is a learning curve for me. I've only been riding a motorcycle for a few months. Actually, a few weeks, and know a little. You know, everything is new, and so even installing the saddlebags, I was a little confused by the directions that said, you know, take that extra shoelace and tie it from the bag here down to the foot peg, and tie another piece from the bag around the brake light. And now I'm seeing, and I went ahead and of course and used zip ties. Hang on a second. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'd use zip ties to hold them nice and secure, but then I got to thinking, well, maybe, well, you know, logically, how do you wash the bike and you know, not get these soaking wet? So I thought, well, maybe those you know, tying it to the foot peg or to the brake light would allow it to be quickly unlooped, and you could, you know, flip the whole thing over to one side and wash one side and flip it back. That may well be the case, but I like this. It's nice and neat. You don't see anything. You don't see any you know, shoelace things coming down, and you know, and the way I'm going to probably end up washing it when I do actually wash it with water is just take a large like kitchen trash bag that's clean, and just, you know, you just loop it up, and you know, bring it all the way up and tie it right at the top and wash it, and then untie it and dry everything. It should be fine. So I'm going to stick with the zip ties because of how secure they are, and the fact that everything's hidden and invisible, and it looks nice, and I'm still able to wash it just by you know, using trash bags to cover up the saddlebags so they don't get wet. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here, but I'm happy with them, and let me just get a larger overall shot of the motorcycle. There we go. And from the back, looks good. I like the look. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but these are Star Motorcycle, genuine Star accessories. When I purchased the bike, Star sent me a $50 coupon or gift certificate, what have you, to use towards accessories, and so I figured, oh well, heck, I'm going to save $50 on these things. Might as well buy them through Star, and they are very, very good quality. There's no issues at all regarding quality. So my battery's about to run out, and I've probably spent way too much time on what should be a simple topic, but nevertheless, I had some time today and thought I'd make a video, and hopefully someone will find it interesting or helpful or just comic relief. Either way, I'm here to serve. Enjoy. Bye-bye.